Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English. In our today's video, we are going to cover India's Great Nicobar Project. As the name suggests, this is an infrastructure development project which India is planning to build in the Great Nicobar Island, part of the larger Andaman and Nicobar archipelago. Let us understand why are we dealing with this topic. Now the notes which I will be utilizing in this session, you can download them in a particular Telegram channel known as ATS Live. So go to this channel, subscribe to it if you still haven't, and you can download the notes. Let us deal with why are we dealing with this particular topic in our today's video. Now India recently, as recent as in 2021, started a 72,000 crore Great Nicobar project which aims to construct transshipment port, airport, power plant, townships in the Great Nicobar Island. Now, this project of late has invited many of the criticism, most prominently being from the opposition leader, that is Mrs. Sonia Gandhi from Congress party. Now, few days before, in an editorial in the Hindu newspaper, she criticized this project, saying it as an example of ill-conceived policy making, and this has encouraged or this has sparked a kind of a political slugfest in India. Now, we as an educational channel will try to look at the facts and try to critique this project based on the fact, right? Let us first deal with what this fact deals with. Now, you need to understand the Great Nicobar Island is itself a very ecologically sensitive region. So, any developmental project, any infrastructural development project in this area would obviously invite the charges of destroying of the ecology. So, how is government trying to balance the ecological constructions or ecological concerns associated with project with respect to the strategic and economic gains that the government stands to gain out of it? Let us deal with this in our today's discussion. Now you need to understand that Andaman and Nicobar, as far as geographical perspective is concerned, the questions on this topic has been asked many times in the prelims examination. One example is this. So we'll try to solve all the questions that have appeared in the exam as far as Andaman and Nicobar is concerned before the end of our today's session, so no need to worry. Now let us deal with the background of this matter. Now in the past 5 years, government has taken many steps and proposals to develop the infrastructure levels in the Andaman and Nicobar Island. First, to safeguard nation security, to secure the country's interest as far as rising interests of other countries are concerned. Now you need to understand Andaman and Nicobar is located at the extreme east part of the Bay of Bengal, and it is sometimes called as India's unsinkable aircraft carrier. Now, of late, the Bay of Bengal has become quite active as far as presence of foreign navies is concerned. Most concerning of this is the Chinese People's Liberation Army's naval outfit. Now, as the great deployment of Chinese naval ships have increased in the Bay of Bengal region, so it has given rise to India's concern of keeping the monitoring of all these movements in the Bay of Bengal region and undertaking military infrastructure development in Andaman and Nicobar Island is answers to all of those concerns. So how is government trying to implement this project? This becomes very important for India's security, India's polity as far as India's sovereignty is concerned. Okay. Now, one you need to understand that in addition to all of those developmental and military concerns is concerned, you also need to understand that Andaman and Nicobar Island, particularly the Great Nicobar Island, is located in a very ecologically sensitive area, and that is why this developmental project is seen more of a challenge. Now, to deal with these concerns, the government earlier had given an environmental clearances to all these projects, but there were many cases that were referred to the National Green Tribunal. So, to deal with this issue, National Green Tribunal directed the Ministry of Environment, who originally gave the environmental creation, to construct and constitute a high-powered committee which will revisit the environmental clearances given by the government. And this 6-member NGT panel was hearing cases attached by environmental researchers which alleged that this project created or led to many environmental violations in the region. Now, what happened that the Union Ministry submitted the report that was given to it by this high-powered committee to the floor of National Green Tribunal. Even as this matter is being heard by National Green Tribunal, this has created a lot of controversy. Why? Because the impasse on whether to balance ecological concerns with that of strategic concerns is not being a straightforward deal in Indian politics. So let us understand first of all where is in Andaman and Nicobar Island located, what is the Great Nicobar project, and what are the concerns associated with this project, right? First, let us start with the Andaman and Nicobar Island. This is a group of islands called as archipelago, and it consists of more than 836 islands. And it has been majorly divided into two different categories. On the north is Andaman Islands, and on the south there is Nicobar Islands, which you can see from this map. Separating these two bodies of island is a channel of water known as 10-degree channel, which is a 150-kilometer wide piece of water. So this is called as 10-degree channel. Right. Now the Great Nicobar Island obviously is a part of Southern Nicobar Island group. Now it is the southernmost part of Nicobar Island, and it is the largest of all the Nicobarese islands. But it is also known for its fragile ecosystem and a significant biodiversity. Now the area of this Great Nicobar Island spans more than 900 square kilometers, and the type of vegetation that is available here, it mainly covers tropical rainforest in the southeastern part of Bay of Bengal. Now the southernmost tip of Andaman and Nicobar Island is located in Great Nicobar Island, and this is called as Indira Point, which is only 90 nautical miles or 170 kilometers from the northernmost tip of Indonesia known as Sabang, which is located on the island of Sumatra. And Sumatra is largest of all the islands that there is in Indonesia. So you can understand this part of India, that is Indira Point, is located within 170 kilometers from Indonesia and very close to another major shipping route of the world, that is Strait of Malacca, which segregates Singapore from Indonesia, right? Now let us understand the ecological and human elements of the Great Nicobar Island. Now Great Nicobar Island has presence of two national parks, that is Campbell Bay National Park on the north and Galathea National Park on the south, and both of these national parks are a part of Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve. This island, in addition to having flora and fauna, is also home to two very important tribes of the region, that is Shompen tribe as well as Nicobarese tribal people, and there are many thousands of non-tribal people also living in this area. So ecology, it is dominated by two national parks which are a part of one biosphere reserve, and it has presence of two important tribes, that is Nicobarese tribe and Shompen tribe. More on them later on, no need to worry. Now let us deal with the Great Nicobar Project. All of the map I have attached here so you can look after the end of the session. Let us deal with what kind of construction will happen in this Great Nicobar Project. Now this project was launched in 2021 to develop the southernmost tip of the Great Nicobar Island. Now this project consists of construction of an international airport which would have a dual use of civilian aircrafts as well as defense related work. Similarly, it will also have a transshipment port, an international container transshipment port on the eastern side of the Galathea Bay known as Galathea Bay Transshipment Terminal, which would obviate the need or reduce our India's dependence on ports like Colombo and Sri Lanka. So India has had one transshipment port in Kerala, that is the Envisioned project, and the second one would be the Galathea Bay Transshipment Port. Another one, to supply power, there will be a 450 megawatt gas and solar based power plant, and to reside people who will be working on these projects, there will be construction of a township which will be spread across 150 square kilometer region. In addition to that, government has added many other projects in Great Nicobar Project. One is International Cruise Terminal. Now in this international cruise terminal, you need to understand this would transform Great Nicobar Island into a port-led city, which would see very high opportunities of ecotourism and would also accommodate very international and domestic tourists. So India is wanting to develop a cruise terminal in the Great Nicobar Island. Similarly, there will be a shipbuilding and shipbreaking yard which is proposed over an 100-acre land with a 500-meter seafront. In addition to that, there will also be a port that will promote import and export of goods and services located in Campbell Bay. So these are the sum total of projects that are being undertaken under the Great Nicobar Project. Most of them have an economic outlook, but you also need to understand many of these projects can also be utilized for defense related purposes. For example, airports can be used for landing of Air Force and Navy aircrafts, whereas the terminals can be used to dock important naval ships and submarines, right? So these would ensure economic security as well as national security of India away from many of the challenges. Now, this project or the Great Nicobar Project will be implemented by a body known as Andaman and Nicobar Island Integrated Development Corporation, which was established back in 1998 under the Companies Act. Now, the objective of this body is to develop and commercially exploit the natural resources for the balanced and environmental friendly development of Andaman and Nicobar. So, government is trying to harness the economic resources, but at the same time, it does not or it does not want to ignore the ecologically sensitive of the region. So what this body is responsible to do, it wants to undertake what is known as sustainable development of the region, right? So by undertaking sustainable development, government would ensure taking care of both economic need as well as ecological security. Now, there are many challenges that have been highlighted in implementation of this project, and this is also very necessary for us to have an informed view of the opinion. First is the strategic importance of this island and how it pits against the ecologically fragility of the region or ecological sensitivity of the region. First is that this project is very central to India's Indo-Pacific strategy, and India's Indo-Pacific strategy wants India to portray as a net security provider of the Indian Ocean region. Now, if India were to provide security to the entire Indian Ocean region, it would mean that India needs to increase its deployment of Navy in Arabian Sea, in Bay of Bengal and in the greater Indian Ocean region. So, for that matter, India has no other option but to rely on Andaman and Nicobar Island. Why? On one hand, India right now has 2 aircraft carriers which it can deploy anywhere. On the other hand, Andaman and Nicobar Island has been called as India's unsinkable aircraft carrier. So let us imagine if India develops air bases, naval bases in Andaman and Nicobar Island, it will help Indian Army, Indian Air Force to project powers at the wider areas of Indian Ocean region, including the very important Strait of Malacca. And you need to understand, any important cargo that flows through Indian Ocean region and enters into the Southeast Asian region has to pass through the Strait of Malacca. And if Indian Navy, Indian Air Force has the ability to monitor this stretch, it would have a very greater impact on India's national comprehensive power. But on the other hand, Great Nicobar is an ecologically sensitive zone. I already told you it has presence of 2 national parks in addition to 1 biosphere reserve. And any infrastructure expansion in this area would automatically become controversial with an allegation of destruction of ecology. So large scale construction actually can threaten the pristine rainforest and coastal ecosystems which the Great Nicobar Island is known for. In addition to that, it is also known for its reef, which may or may not be destroyed due to the implementation of this project. So government needs to take care of it. Similarly, there are many environmental concerns. First is that if you develop the ecology of the region or economy of the region, it might have negative impact on the coastal reefs. What if there is over tourism? What if the destruction of coral reefs happens due to the construction of port and transshipment ports? Similarly, the marine ecosystems, the flora and fauna available in the waters might also be threatened. Similarly, this region is very has wide presence of endangered species, including the terrestrial, the Nicobarese megapode bird and leatherback turtles, all of which are threatened at various scales. So it will have negative impact on population of these endangered species. In addition to all the ecological concerns, there are many social concerns also. I told you this island has presence of 2 important tribes, Shawmpins and the Nicobarese. Now, Shawmpin tribe largely have been uncontacted and vulnerable tribal group, and in case of development happen in their habitat, it might lead to their displacement and cultural destruction. Similarly, it also might violate the right of indigenous community under various constitutional and legal safeguards, like right to forest resources. So if we shift them from their native areas, it might deny them the right to forest produce which might be available in the region. So these are some total of concerns that are associated with the project. First is the environmental fragility of the region. Second are the concerns associated with destruction of marine ecosystems. And third are the social concerns that is associated with displacement of a very uncontacted and vulnerable tribe, that is Shawmpin tribe. In addition to that, there is also allegations of lack of transparency. Now, whatever the high-powered committee report has been submitted to the government has not made that report public. Similarly, when activists, they want to get this report under the RTI Act, it has been denied to them by the government. And wildlife conservation plan that is also not public has been passed through based on scientific inputs, but there has been no encouragement or no engagement with the local civil society done before passing of these acts. So these are the sum total of allegations that have been levied on the Great Nicobarese project. Now, before the end of the session, I wanted to let you know something. If you're looking to subscribe to any of our courses for UPSC, for optional subjects, for state PCS or for judiciary, there is one thing you need to know, that the prices of all the courses on our website is going to increase from 12th September onwards. So you have until 12th of September to take admissions, but please do not forget to use the code ATS Live because it helps you get maximum discounts on all the courses of our website, right? Now let us try to solve one of the questions. Which one of the following region of India has a combination of mangrove forest, evergreen forest and deciduous forest? Now it is very easy to eliminate options A, B and C. So the right option would be option D, because these three options have presence of one, not all of these environmental ecosystems. Second question is, which one of the following pair of island is separated from each other by 10-degree channel? I told you 10-degree channel, which is a water body 150 kilometers wide, separates Andaman and Nicobar Island. So option A is your right answer. Third question, which one of the following is geographically closest to Great Nicobar Island? I told you Great Nicobar Island is located 170 kilometers away from the northernmost tip of Indonesia, that is Sabang, and Sabang is located on the largest island of Indonesia, that is the Sumatra Islands. So option A again becomes your right answer. So this brings an end to our today's session. I hope you like it. What do you feel about this project? Is it actually necessary from our security and sovereignty concerns, or should government go slow on this project to meet with the allegations of environmental destruction? Please do let me know what is your opinion. Please be very civil about it. There are many important prerogatives of the government, and government needs to ensure both of them, that is to undertake sustainable development. Once again, if you want to download the notes, these will be made available on this particular Telegram channel, ATS Live. Go to this channel, the notes will be available, so please download them. So this is all from my side. We'll see each other again. Please have a very good day.